morning. I'm Charles Lejano. This is One News Now. Several areas in Barangay San Dionisio in Parañaque have been placed under a 3-day calibrated lockdown. To give us the latest from the ground, we have JC Cosico. He's reporting live from Parañaque. JC, what exactly triggered this calibrated lockdown in that particular area?
Yes, Charles, after Barangay Baclaran, the Parañaque City LGU put another village under calibrated lockdown in a bid to control the spread of COVID-19. 9 areas in Barangay San Dionisio have been placed under a 3-day lockdown after the village recorded the highest number of COVID-19 infections in the city. These were Tramo 1, Tramo 2, Tupang Pangarap, Sitio Masigla, Poultry Compound, Parañaque Homes, Mangahan Wakas, Unified Mangahan, and Mary Queen of Peace. Officials say these communities are home to over 8,000 families and are said to be the areas where most of the village's 116 confirmed cases originated from. The lockdown began at 6 a.m. today and will last until the midnight of June 6. The barangay says there is a high possibility of cross-contamination as some homes are built close to each other. In fact, there were already cases of family transmission and community transmission in the area. During the lockdown, residents will be holed up in their homes except for medical and government frontliners. COVID-19 testing among residents, including contact tracing and disinfection of streets, will be done during the lockdown. Food packs and water rations will also be distributed to residents. Quarantine passes were already suspended when Metro Manila shifted to GCQ, so the barangay coordinated with the PNP to ensure the effective implementation of the lockdown. Here's what the barangay has to say on this.
And meron pa rin tayong mga volunteers, tanod, and itong mga pulis natin umiikot. Kasi yung sinabi natin walang queue pass, pwede kang lumabas to buy essential goods. So pag wala kang business sa labas, kailangan ka pa rin namin papasukin. Ang ating lugar na PNP is nag-provide sila ng 250 to 300 And standby pa rin sila pag may kaya at pag kailangan pa rin ng manpower. Nandyan ang PNP para todong sumuporta sa atin.
Charles, as of yesterday, the Parañaque City LGU has recorded a total of 765 confirmed COVID-19 cases with 485 recoveries and 49 deaths. Charles?
All right, thanks for that, JC. You mentioned that COVID-19 testing is actually going to be done in the area. Are they looking at testing the entire population, or will this be targeted as well?
Charles, what the barangay said earlier, that the testing will be targeted and the testing will be done to the probables, the suspects, and those who had direct exposure to COVID-19 positives. Charles?
Right, thanks for that, JC. That was JC Cosico reporting to us live from Parañaque. 100 OFWs who signed up for the Balik Probinsya program are stranded outside the NAIA. And they're hoping that their local governments will facilitate their flights back to their hometowns, especially now that they have run out of money to pay for their requirements. Justine Punsalang has the report.
Instead of comfortable beds, about 100 OFWs are sleeping on the hard cement floor of NAIA Terminal 2 in Parañaque City. They were supposed to fly out to the Middle East between March and April, but they were stranded in Manila after the government placed the entire Luzon under an enhanced community quarantine. So when they heard about the Balik Probinsya program, the OFWs immediately signed up for it. But the program seems to be prioritizing Davao City residents.
May nakauwi na kasamahan namin. Tapos ang sabi nila na magpunta daw kami dito kasi dito na daw yung processing ng mga papilis na makauwi talaga kami, sir. Tapos hanggang kahapon pumunta kami ng alas 6, nasama nga kami sa 180 na pauwi na. Yung si 130 daw sasakyan, tapos wala. Hanggang nag-umaga na lang, sir, na dumating ng maraming mga tao. Tapos yung talagang taga Santo Tomas, yun lang taga ang pinaalis. At saka pagkahapon, Davao del Sur at saka Davao City lang yung pinapaalis.
Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III also made the same comment to Transportation Secretary Arto Gade on Tuesday.
Sa Interagency Task Force, nakiusap ako na kung maaari makipag-meet ako kay Secretary Tugade para sa kanyang mga sasakyan, aeroplano, barko at saka bases. Yung kuminsan kasi yung mga bases ni Secretary Tugade namimili. Kala mo gusto nila puro southbound. Ayaw nilang pumunta sa amin. Kasi daw yung daan papunta sa bagay, taga roon din si Secretary Agad eh. Rough road at saka ibang terrain hindi kagaya sa southbound na puro patag. So, yun ang pakikiusap ko kay Secretary Agad to provide the transportation facilities.
Now, stranded passengers are advised that they should individually coordinate with the local governments of their provinces as the LGUs will be the ones to facilitate their travel.
Tumawag na po ko sa sir, sa probinsya namin. Tapos ang sabi magkahapon, mag-antay lang daw kasi nga parang inaano pa nila ba na may tatawagan daw si Gob dito na tao na ipaano daw kami, makakuha ng slot kahit 10 lang yun sa amin. Kasi nga, nag-apply na nga ako doon yung sa balik probinsya.
Nag-apply na kayo sa balik probinsya?
Opo.
Ano nangyari doon?
Wala pa ding balita. Kasi sabi nila, tatawag na lang daw sila anytime yung staff ni Gob.
But the problem is, they no longer have the money to process the requirements by the LGUs.
Ang problema po talaga naman ngayon, paano na kumuha ng medical certificate sa travel authority para makauwi po kami agad. Kasi nang humingi kami ng tulong sa LGU namin, yun po ang sabi nila para makauwi po kami, para mapubo kami agad nila ng ticket.
Since March, many of these OFWs have been staying in accommodations provided by their agencies. But after 3 months, supplies are depleting.
Sa accommodation po namin, 4 na buwan po kami doon. Hindi po kami lumalabas.
Tapos ano pong nangyari? Ba't uuwi na po kayo ngayon?
Ano po, kasi wala na po kami doon sa accommodation. Papauwiin po kami ng agency. Wala na doon sa ipakain, ganon. Bigas lang doon yung Tapos wala na po kaming pera.
Kaya nangutang ako dahil sa dyan. Pero ngayon, mag 5 months na, mag 6 months na ako. Kaya sabi ng agency, promise lang ng promise. Tapos, yung proseso pala, wala pala sila sa kait. Kaya, hanggang tiis lang, laban lang po.
Having nowhere else to go, the OFWs decided to stay at the airports and wait for a flight that will bring them home to their families. According to them, it does not matter how long they have to stay outside the airport as long as there is an assurance that they could go home.
Kaya si Mr. Presidente, yung Pangulo namin, sana maawa talaga sa kami sa kalagayan dito kasi matanda na yung magulang ko, single mother ako. Mag 5 months po ako sa agency. Kaya maawa din siya sa amin na pauwiin din kami.
Maghintay kung kailan kami paano, kailan kami mag-uwi. Hanggang kailan kami dito matulog, basta makauwi lang kami.
They're also worried about the lack of opportunities when they return home.
Okay lang po kasi dahil sa ganitong sitwasyon, hindi na naman natin mapipilit dahil delikado naman.
May plano pa rin kayo pumunta sa abroad kung sakali magkaroon ng pagkakataon?
Kung okay na po ang sitwasyon lahat, pwede naman po ako babalik doon. Pero kung ganito pa rin ang sitwasyon, di po talaga pa ako babalik doon.
For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after a quick break. Stay with us on One News. Good morning, I'm Charles Lejano. This is One News Now. Now that we're on the fourth day of the GCQ in the capital, more buses are expected to help out stranded commuters along major thoroughfares. Let's check out the situation with Greg Gregorio. He's reporting live from Quezon City. Greg, do you see an improvement on the number of buses now plying Commonwealth Avenue?
Yes, Charles, the number of buses plying along Commonwealth Avenue has now increased since the transportation authorities implemented a calibrated response on Tuesday, allowing the limited operation of some 500 bus units for the Angat-Quezon Avenue route. Based on the MMDA's monitoring, from the initial six bus units that operated on Tuesday morning, at least 10 buses are now plying along Commonwealth Avenue. In fact, there were 17 buses on Tuesday. Yesterday, 15 bus units went back on the road for the operation. While this morning, there were 12 bus units monitored by the MMDA. These numbers, however, are still short of the 500 units allowed by the LTFRB or even the 40 buses committed by operators. The LTFRB is now asking operators to explain why they have failed to fill out the 40 bus units they have committed. Buses servicing the route has a fixed 25 peso fare. The MMDA say they can load and unload at 19 stops along Commonwealth Avenue. Charles, aside from this route, the LTFRB has already allowed the operation on additional routes starting tomorrow, June 5. These are the Monumento do Balagtas Bulacan route, EDSA to Montalban Rizal route, and the Naiya loop. And on Monday, more routes are expected to be operational. The LTFRB is set to meet with concerned bus operators to determine the number of buses that would ply these routes. Charles?
Thanks for that, Greg. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Quezon City. As Congress inches closer towards enacting the anti-terror law, lawyers are sounding the alarm over a few controversial provisions. But the president's allies are saying that the measure isn't something to be feared. Speaking with the Chiefs on One News, PBA Party List Representative Jericho Nograles said activism and protesting to express dissent against the government are not considered terrorism under the measure.
Unang-una, maraming nagsasabi na minadali ito. Medyo mahirap naman na to agree with that saying na minadali ito dahil matagal na ho itong pinapanday. This is about 7 years in the making.
Meanwhile, Dean Mel Santamaria of the FEU College of Law said certain provisions of this controversial bill endanger civil rights.
We have to start with the law they drafted. Ano ba talaga ang nakalagay doon? So ang nakakatakot dito, yung Article 25 and Article 29.
For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.